Hello everyone, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking. Today I'm going to do my annual predictions and prophecies. Okay, sometimes I call them predictions, sometimes I call them prophecies. I've done this probably for, golly, probably 15 or more years. And I've posted them, of course, on the Truth Seeker Forum for many years, and then I moved them over here to Dimensional Walking. So I think last year was probably my first year, and today we're gonna discuss the results of my 2022 predictions and prophecies, which I guess is this one and the same, I guess. And then we're gonna talk about my 2023 predictions. So let's get into our 2022 predictions. And I will, in the description, I'll put the actual video that I did the beginning, I think it was the first week or so of 2022 with the predictions. So you know I'm not kind of, making this up as I go. I actually had made some predictions a specific day for this year. And then I also will put on there, since I've been doing this a while, I also did a video, and I'll put a link into it, of a couple of the really, I'm going to call them a little bit dangerous predictions I made, because they came true, and some people around me were kind of blown away by it. And in one instance, it had to do with 9/11, and at that time I happened to be working with the FBI. And I kind of told them of this prediction 2 weeks before 9/11 happened. And so they came out looking for me, basically. Luckily, they were kind of good friends of mine, so it wasn't a big deal. And I had no relationship with 9/11 other than me seeing 9/11. Anyways, I'll put a link to that one. I think it's a kind of an interesting story, you may find. And then again, I always tell people that you need to pay attention. There's almost everybody has the opportunity to make a prediction or a prophecy, and many of those will come true. It's just kind of like taking a little peek in the window of time, since I believe time is past time, present time, and future time are all the same time. So anyways, pay attention. So let's jump into 2022. My predictions and prophecies, and then I'll grade myself on it as I've always done. So we'll see what I do. I'm very fair about the grading. I think I'm reasonable anyways. Okay, so my number one prediction was that COVID, of course, COVID's been a big subject for the last few years, so I had to have one in about COVID. COVID, of course, during the summertime, it would calm down. And in the fall, it would surge up, which it did. It did. And I made another prediction that there would be 4 jabs, 4 vaccinations in 2022. Now, on that particular part of it, I had to do some research to go back yesterday when I started developing or putting this video together. I found out that was only partially correct, the 4 jabs. Most people got 4 jabs, if you got all of them, all 5 of them, in 2022. There were some people that did get the first and second jabs in 2021. Okay? So I would be a little bit wrong in that case, because then it would have been 3 jabs and 2 jabs in 2021, 3 jabs in 2022. Okay, so anyways, on that particular one, I'm just going to take, instead of a full point, I'm going to take a half a point. Okay, I usually either take a point if it's 100%, seems to be very close to 100% right, or a half a point if it's partially reasonably right of some reasonable degree over 50%. Okay, I think, which is fair. So anyways, I'm taking a half a point on that one. Okay, number 2 is, so this is a political one. And I predicted that the Senate, the Democrats in the midterm would retain the Senate by a slight margin, which is correct, which happened. And then we'd lose the House. The Democrats would lose the House by a margin of about, let me see, 15. I believe it was 15, and you can check it, but I think it was 15 seats would be lost. And that came pretty close to being true. It actually was only 9 seats that the Democrats lost. So on that particular one, I gave myself a point. And I thought, because I got very close at the beginning of the year, if you remember, in 2022, many people were predicting that it was going to be a landslide for both the House and the Senate, and the Republicans would take over, which is kind of the natural thing, especially when a president like Biden, who had extremely low ratings, okay, plus he was a Democrat, and usually the midterms are pretty much cleaned up. The other party cleans up pretty well in it, and the Republicans did not at this particular time, as we all know. So anyways, I'm definitely giving myself a point on that one, okay? Number 3 was kind of a weird one. You know, there's several weird ones in these 10 predictions. For some reason, I got a real strong feeling that there would be a lot of missing people in Asheville, North Carolina, okay? And at the same time, there'd be a lot of UFO sightings over and around Asheville, North Carolina. Well, I had to spend some time yesterday checking that out to see what happened, if there was anything, and the answer was no, there wasn't anything. So on that particular one, I got a big fat 0, okay? I don't know why that came to me, that something like that was going to happen, and what the connection was between UFOs and missing people. I don't know. So anyways, that's a 0. Number 4, the stock market. This was an interesting one. I think at the beginning of 2022, nobody really knew what was going to happen, okay? I don't think in the end, I don't think they thought it was going to be as bad as it was. But anyways, I had predicted the stock market by the end of 2022 would be down 20% from the beginning of 2022. And guess what? The Dow Jones was down by 11%, and the NASDAQ was down by 33%. So I did a little averaging. I don't know if that's super fair, but I did. And it turns out to be that was 22%. If you took both of them, added them together, and divided by 2, it turned out to be 22%. So I'm gonna say that's a pretty good number considering I predicted 20. I think it's a gimme. So I took a point there. Okay. So the next one was the crazy world of crypto. And at the beginning of 2022, there was a lot of people that were saying that crypto was going to do pretty damn good 2022. There was a lot of people who were saying some unbelievable high numbers. Most people were definitely on the positive side at the beginning of 2022. I had said that crypto would drop 25%, which is a pretty huge drop, right? So crypto dropped close to 60%, which is pretty devastating, for crypto. So in that particular one, since many people were saying that crypto was going to do very well, and I said 25%, which most people weren't saying anything close to that, was going to go down. I'm going to give myself, even though it wasn't perfect, the swing between what people were saying was going to go up and what actually happened was probably a ton, right? So anyways, I'm going to give myself a half a point on that one. I think it's fair because I did see an extreme coming. I just didn't know how big the extreme was. So I'm taking a half a point there, okay? Hopefully you're all right with that. North Korea. Next one was North Korea. I had made a prediction on North Korea that they would have a supersonic missile that would land within 300 miles of Hawaii. Okay, so that didn't quite happen. But what did happen was that there was a ton of missile launches beyond anything they'd ever done before. Large missiles, small missiles, some actually flew over Japan. So it was a big, crazy stir that went on. So because I had a feeling that something with missiles of more of an extreme degree was going to happen, I'm going to give myself a half a point there. I don't think that was really unfair of me taking a half a point there. Okay, so here's a crazy one, and this one I'm not even sure where the heck this came from. I'm a big fan of Saturday Night Live. Okay? And for some reason, I may have been in this particular time actually watching it, and this came to me. It was that Lorne Michaels, who, as you know, is been the producer, director, everything of Saturday Night Live for many, 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 many years. Okay? He was going to retire in 2022. And the person that was being groomed and was going to take over for him was Kenan Thompson. As you all know, Kenan Thompson is one of the longest running members of the cast. And I don't know why I thought that he was going to take it over in 2022. Now, it still may happen someday. And if it does, I want you to remember who told you first. Okay? Okay. So, number 8. Our friend Elon Musk. Well, beginning of 2022, apparently had some really crazy feelings about him. And he pretty much continued on the crazy way all of 2022 and got worse at the end. I had predicted, though, that he would step down from Tesla as the CEO or whatever he calls himself, the czar. But he would keep still being ahead of SpaceX. Okay? SpaceX, I believe, is what he really enjoys more than he does Tesla anymore. I think at first he enjoyed, doing the Tesla thing, but a guy like him seems to get tired of things and wants to move on to something else. Sometimes it's really crazy, like Twitter, but that's a whole nother side comment we won't go into. Okay, and that one I got to give myself a goose egg, even though it was a chaotic, crazy year for Elon Musk. I didn't really predict that correctly at all. So, anyways, that's a 0. Then the next thing is number 9 is UFOs. There was 3 other places that when I was meditating that I saw a lot of UFOs, excessive amount, was Spokane, Hawaii, and Gulf Breeze, Florida. Okay. Now, Gulf Breeze is someplace I've done personal research way back in the 80s. I went down there quite a few times and actually saw UFOs there. So maybe that was in the back of my mind. I don't really know. Spokane has had quite a few UFO sightings in the past, but I was really focused on 2022. So same thing with Gulf Breeze. So anyways, and all 3 of those places, the only one that had an increase, seemed to have an increase in UFO sightings last year, 2022, was Hawaii. They had about a 25% increase in sightings. So, okay. I'm not giving myself any points on that at all. That wasn't really enough to warrant even a half a point. So, anyways. Okay, number 10, climate change. I had predicted that there would be a tremendous heat dome developing over southern United States in the summer of 2022. Temperatures would soar during the day between 110 and 120. Well, that didn't happen. But what did happen, and the reason I'm making myself a half a point on this, is that the average temperatures, daytime temperatures in the summer months, okay, I guess we'll say June, July, August, and June, July, August, September, at least part of September, the day temperatures average about 3 degrees above normal. Okay, 3 degrees above normal. That's pretty substantial. And then the nighttime temperature were 4 degrees above normal. So I'm going to give myself on that one a half a point because it was an extreme event, basically being that above average for those summer months anyways. But no heat dome. Thank God, because the heat domes are pretty crazy. As you probably know, I live up here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, and we had that tremendous heat dome, which hundreds of people died, literally. So it was pretty profound. So I'm glad it didn't happen further south, okay? Now, I always throw in this number 11, which is just my hopefulness. The Green Bay Packers, since I'm a Packer fan, would win the Super Bowl. So I threw that in there. But I've been doing that for quite a few years. I'm not counting in my total unless I would have been right. But I'm not right. Haven't been right, actually, for the last several years. So anyways, Packers obviously didn't win. So, okay. So if I take all my points and all my half points, came out with 4 points. 4 out of 10. Not too good. That's 40%. That's well below my average. I average typically between 50 and 60%, which is pretty good, I think. My best year was 85, okay? And my worst was 30%, or 3 right out of 10. I typically do 10. So that's what 2020 was. Not the best year, for sure, for my predictions, prophecies, whatever. Okay, so let's go. Let me just turn my page so I can get to my predictions and prophecies for 2023. Okay, so let's see where we are here. Okay, here we are. I may have to wear my glasses on these because I wrote them too small, it looks like. Let me explain to you how I derive this typically. Sometimes I just get these ideas and I'll write them down, just maybe driving down the road or maybe watching SNL or something like that. I'll just go ahead and write these things down. But this year I kind of want it to be a little more, I don't want to say sophisticated, but a little more process. I want it to have a little bit of a process. So I do meditation. I always do to some degree. I try to do it every day, sometimes maybe every other day. So what I did is I said I'm going to do about 6 sessions of meditation. Just clear my mind, sit in a quiet place, and just maybe throw a few little suggestions up there, maybe like political, North Korea, or just something to kind of get in there and just open my mind up and see what happens. So I did that in December about 6 times, 30 to 45 minutes each session. Wrote down when I was finished. I wrote down what kind of came through and what you basically heard me or will hear me say. This is what came through. Actually, more things had come through than 10. I just took the 10 that I felt reasonably comfortable with taking. That made some sense. Some of them don't make sense at all. I couldn't even write them down or tell you what they meant. So anyways, I just took again 10. I didn't want to do a whole lot more than that. But so anyways, here are the 10. So I want you to make note of them, and we'll see how I do in next year at this time. Okay. So this is a weird one. I was kind of thinking of something on COVID, and what came through was COVID. The COVID virus would combine with some type of bacterium, a throat bacterium, and because of that, for some reason, it was going to be a very potent, powerful new entity that was going to cause havoc in the world. So that's my number one, kind of a sad one. Number 2, Elon Musk again, and here we go. His downfall will continue. You almost want to say now, and this wasn't really part of it, but you want to say that Twitter is probably going to go bankrupt. And I can throw that in there as my prophecy just because I think it could get pretty crazy. Also, I wanted to mention that I also am a little bit predicting, or I'm going to predict that Elon Musk and I will clash, maybe on Twitter, or maybe somewhere else, over the whole prediction I had made in a video I had done actually on him going to Mars, and that I had a bit of a revelation or whatever you want to call it, maybe a contact, saying that he would not be allowed to ever go there, and some alien group would keep him from putting not so much him going there, it was more putting a permanent settlement on Mars. So I have a feeling, and this was part of the Elon Musk thing, that somehow I would clash with him, probably on the internet somewheres. I had gotten a few weird texts, not text, some LinkedIn messages from some of the people, his people, back in the past when I put that video out on them not being able to reach Mars or put permanent settlements on. So I'm having a feeling that may continue. Okay, so that's number 2 prediction. Number 3, this was just a weird one out of the blue. I felt that there would be some surprise announcement from the Pope this coming year. So we'll see. That's Pope Francis, I guess. I'm not Catholic, but I do know a lot about the Catholic Church. So anyways, let's see what happens. We'll see. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is number 4. The U.S. would confirm that they had a chemtrail program in the past, and it failed. They stopped doing it. They stopped doing the chemtrails. They have failed. I had actually done a video, I think it was last year, about where had all the chemtrails gone. And of course, there's a lot of people who said, "Nah, they're still there. I see them all the time," and that may be. I just have not seen them, and I know 2 or 3 other people that were keen observers of chemtrails, and they hadn't seen them anymore, or very few anymore. So that was sort of the reason I did the video. But the government's going to come out and say they had a program. This is the reason they had it. I don't really know what they're going to say, and they're not doing it because it was considered a failure. So anyways, we'll see if that happens. That's going to be interesting. Climate change. This was kind of an interesting one. Normally, I would give you kind of the gloom and doom on the climate change, and I fully believe it's a real situation. But for some reason this year, I think it's going to be a calm down one. It's going to be one of those more normal years. Yes, there's going to be some floods, there's going to be some windstorms, and there's going to be some hurricanes, just like there always had been throughout, hundreds of years. But I don't think maybe the super extremes that we've been experiencing will not be there this year. So that's a good news one. I don't always get the good news ones, but that one sounds pretty good to me. Let's see. Oh, number 6 is a little bit of a sad one. One of the present living presidents of the United States would pass away. Okay? Don't know who, but one of them would. We'll see which one, if it happens. Maybe it won't. Number 7. Number 7 would be, I had again a kind of a premonition that 3 man-made satellites of some sort would be sighted traveling around the Earth or orbiting the Earth. And nobody seems to know what they were or what they are, and it caused a big stir. I don't know how it all ends up, but that's kind of what came through to me. Okay? Here's a political one. Biden will not run for president, and Trump will be indicted. That's my prediction prophecy. Okay. Number 9 is a pretty sad one. It's World War III will come closer, and the reason for that is Russia and China will unite. China will join Russia in its aggression. So I don't know what all that means beyond what I'm just telling you. So it's a little bit general, but if it seems to get more aggressive towards World War III, then I think I probably had that one right. So let's see. That was number 9. Number 10 and the final one. This was a strange one. As you probably know, if you follow the channel, I had done a video on blue beings. Okay, and you can go back and look at it. It's pretty interesting. I had a lot of following, a lot of views on it, and a lot of people thought it was quite interesting. And I'm not going to go into it now. You can check it out yourself. But anyways, what came through to me that, and this was a very peaceful thing, because there would be a group of people, of humans, that would encounter these blue beings around the world, and I think I had a feeling it was from different countries, and these blue beings seem to elude peace, calm, and seem to want to help create a better atmosphere, a better world for us. So they were going to be helping and assisting. So anyways, that's it. Again, I will put 2 links in here on the description. One link would be for the actual day I announced my 2022 video on the 2022 predictions, and the other one would be the video I did on the 3 or 4 of the prophecies and predictions that were really quite interesting, and ones that actually, for the most part, I had recorded. Other people had recorded them for me before they happened, and some of the stories behind them. I think those are the ones that really were striking, and in one particular case was quite dangerous for me to even tell anybody about it. So, anyways, with all that said, if you like us. We need your subscriptions. We need your views. If you want to send us a private email, you can send it to dimensionalwalking@gmail.com. Please, we love to hear from you. We answer all our comments and we answer all our emails. Anyways, with that said, happy trails until we meet again. Bye-bye.